Their small workshop uses steel coils to make them. Although they do not have automated mechanical equipment, the finished products produced by the close cooperation of the masters are very cost-effective. These rusted steel coils in front of us are the main materials for their production of green cores. In order to facilitate the stamping of steel coils into green core cans, who first has to draw lines according to the standard mold. When passing the mark of the steel cone, each circle fits tightly to avoid excessive gaps and waste of materials. Because the thickness of the steel coil is relatively thin, the master can only cut it into a rough outline by hand, so that the details can be adjusted by the cutter. After the size of the circle meets the use requirements, these round steel sheets can be pressurized. The steel sheet is stretched and shaped by the pressure under the mold. It simply evolves into a cup shape. The appearance size at this time does not meet the requirements. In order to allow the green core to be installed inside, Fu has to replace the pressurization mold for secondary stretching. The main purpose is to increase its height and reduce its diameter. Because the size of the hand-cut steel sheet is still as for the excess scraps on the edge, they need to be removed. The polishing of the entire edge can be consistent. After the appearance of the filter tank is qualified, the master will press these long strips of plated chips into a circle with the outer diameter of the filter to facilitate the packaging of the filter tank. If a filter is required inside, the plated chips should be pressed into small holes to achieve the filtering effect without affecting the flow of the engine oil. After confirming that it is correct, use their small plate rolling machine to roll out a suitable circular amplitude. The stacking position is fixed to facilitate subsequent installation and use. In order to make these formed tanks more beautiful, the master will first hang them on their professional brackets. The main purpose is to facilitate the spraying of the tank surface. After the master completes the ratio of the paint powder, it can be sprayed on the surface of the tank. High temperature heating can melt the surface powder after half an hour of high temperature heating. The spray speed of these filter cartridges has been completed, and the glossiness has reached the standard of paint. The aesthetics of the body has instantly improved. In order to facilitate the installation of the internal filter paper, the body needs to be moved to their assembly station, while the master is moving it. In order to achieve a better filtering effect for the filter element, the master will fold the filter paper through the machine. After the master cuts the filter paper manually, it is necessary to apply glue. The main purpose is to prevent the edge of the green resin from loosening and prevent the oil from flowing back without filtering. After the simple assembly of the internal filter element, a tightening spring needs to be placed in each tank shell. This can provide support for the internal filter element. Then the tank can be encapsulated with a cover plate. The edge of the cover plate is pressed tightly by a high-speed rotating roller. Under the action of the internal spring, the plate can press the rubber anti-backflow valve against the filter element to achieve the purpose of oil filtration. In order to prevent the filter element from leaking oil, it is tested in. When no bubbles are generated, it means it is qualified. Then install the sealing rubber ring on the cover plate. For the basic parameters on the filter element shell, we will use a more convenient private printing. Not only is the cost low, but the effect can also meet the requirements. After the private printing of this simple equipment, the oil filter element made of steel coil has been produced. What do you think of such an oil filter element?